Things have changed significantly in the house that both my brother and myself grew up in, that you see in the background there. A lot of changes in the house that George had made, but this would be where we would start our excursions from, and we did many of them. And one of them I'm going to go on today. Going to go on a quad ride down on the back here, a place called Cruisers. And there's a string of steadies down along what used to be the track bed, and now it's part of the Trans-Canada Trail that goes through Central Newfoundland here. Gonna go up to a place called Chinaman's Trail and take the quad down there. But when we used to do this, it was probably 50 years ago, and we would not be using motorized transportation. Everywhere we went, we would walk. But things have changed as time goes on. And just looking forward to just reminiscing a bit today. I'm going to take my wife Diane with me as we travel down and frequent some of the fishing holes that myself and my brother George used to frequent. So this is Chinaman's Trail. A lot of change in the past 50 years, but it's not a derogatory statement at all. It's just what it was called in years past. A number of houses now built up all around here. There was no houses here. This was a field at one time that a Chinaman family used to grow crops on, and it would go right down to the first pond that we get to down here. So Chinaman's Trail, as we would affectionately call it. This what lies ahead of us, this incline, is what we would call Chinaman's Hill. And myself and my brother, as well as my other siblings, we would spend a lot of time here in the winter, especially sliding, but also with neighborhood friends. And even our girls and their friends have spent time here sliding down over this incline throughout the years. Now it's just mainly used as a trail to get from the main road, which you saw earlier, down to what was formerly the track bed. Grows up on the road there. Just going off into the brush. This is what we call Chinaman's Pond. Beavers as well got it flooded or backed up all down through the steadies now. But this was a pond here that we played a little bit of hockey on as well. But right up the end of this steady, there would be some good fishing up there in the spring of the year. You catch some fair-sized mud trout. But other than that, we didn't fish up there a lot, because the trail came here and it was a long walk to get up around that pond just to see if you were going to get any fish. And you could get up there and get 5 or 10. This is, as I would call it, the top of CJCN Pond. If you look down and see all the houses, that's something within the last 30 years these houses were built. But this would probably be one of the major fishing places for myself and my brother here, the top of CJCN Pond. The little steady that you see here would be a place that we would catch many a trout to bring home for, I guess really for our grandmother, because she's the one that liked to fish that much. And down further you can see CJCN Pond, as we call it. Played a lot of hockey in that there. Down where those brown bulrushes are, that would be the area that we would lace up our skates and that for playing hockey in the winter. But overall, a lot of changes have happened. This would be the beginning of our 3-kilometer walk down what used to be the railway tracks here, which is now just a track bed as we call it. And so just down at the end of this little gully here is where we'll end up going back up to the house, and where we would come down and fish in this little pond here, and then come up here and fish in where it goes under the what was then the track bed, and do a bit of fishing over here. Not a lot of memory about up here because I didn't catch many fish up this way, but down at the top of the pond here, a lot more. But a beautiful day just for out for a coffee and just a drive. So 3 kilometers down here is about where New Bay Road would cross the road. Maybe 3.5 kilometers. Here's the area I said earlier that the beaver had dammed off. When I was here as a boy, this area here was a brook flowing down. You can just see a trout there jumping now in the water. So there's still fish here. And then on the other side, when I come around, someone's got a wooden bridge in there and now. But if you look at right here in the foreground, that used to be our main swimming hole that we would frequent here. Our sister Cavell saw a bear to the right there, and they ended up, her and her friends, leaving all their clothes down and running back up home because the bear had scared them, of course. But anyway, that's the swimming hole. We would do some fishing there where the brook dumps out into the little hole that's there. But through bog, I guess, succession, it's all growed in now, and that will probably continue unless somebody digs it out. But it was up about waist deep on an adult, so around 3 feet deep to 4 feet deep at times. Used to do some fishing here. I don't know if you can see the houses in the background, but it's all built up, I guess, in the last 40 to 50 years. But this used to be just a stream or a steady, but the beavers got it dammed up now and all the water is backed up. You'll see down a little bit further on the trussel, same thing. Same body of water, just over a larger amount of ground. Another part of cruiser steadies, you can see the beaver's lodge down there, and that's what's causing the water to back up and I guess kind of flood the whole area here. But a great place to catch a few fish, and I would say with the fly rod here, it wouldn't be much different than in times past. And you can hear the sound of that animal is actually a bird. It's called a bog bittern, and he's probably down there in front of where I'm filming now. But the other sound you hear is frogs. Where the old track bed used to cross what was an unpaved New Bay Road. But you can see there's pavement here now. But this would be pretty well the end of the line for us fishing on any given day. Maybe down here about another quarter of a kilometer, there's another pond on the left. But it was also our swimming hole. And you'll see that in the next video. But overall, this is where we would turn around and head back home. Distance of about 4 kilometers once you leave the track bed and head up to the house, total of 4 kilometers. This would be one of the last places on the cruiser's steadies that we would fish. I don't know if you can see it here, but the water level is much higher because the beaver has it dammed off. And we would actually use this as a local swimming hole as well, because the brook comes down to the left there, and it was a nice sandy rocky bottom, but a beautiful place for swimming as well in the later part of the summer. And the sounds you can hear now are frogs. It's mating season for frogs and toads, and I guess that's their call that they make. But anyway, this would be one of the last ponds we would frequent on a daily basis. Filming now using time-lapse photography as we travel the last 3 kilometers back to where we would leave the track bed and head back home. Traveling an average of 30 kilometers an hour. So Chinaman's Trail goes on up here. We just came down there a while ago. So I'm going to turn off here and go up this one. This is the one I talked about earlier. Myself and my brother cut, and by the look of it, he's used it a lot more than I have. Anyway, so he would come down and access Chinaman's Trail this way. We just came up over that hill there, which is a pretty steep incline, but that's Chinaman's Trail hill, but we're about 200 meters to the left of it, so it should take us up, right up to George's place. This is the trail ahead of us, a little bit muddy because it is a bog here, and when we get through this bog we'll end up being pretty well up to Peary's land as well as George's land. So probably another 3 minutes on quad and we'll be home. And here we're back up to more or less where we started. As I made this video today, a lot of memories went through my mind, and video at times doesn't do justice to the memories that I would have and others would have. Straight ahead you can see my car, and this is where I took the quad from earlier. This is the first part of the video, as it says in the title, and we would progress through the years to doing some fishing in New Bay Road area, and Long Pond and Dog Pond come to mind. So that will take place in the next video, and then a little bit of the places George used to salmon fish later years. The old homestead.